So now we come to stanza number 33 on the 9th chapter of Bodhicharyavatara, continuing from the same kind of discussion. There is nothing when this is asserted. Nothing is there to be examined. How can a nothing, wholly unsupported, rest before the mind as something present? When something and its non-existence both are absent from before the mind, no other option does the latter have. It comes to perfect rest from concepts free. So this 33 and 34. So the Tibetan version is Gongche Gonghi Metohi Toju Ngupo Mimipa. Teche Ngume Tentalwa Luindana Chatarnes. So when you understand that, looking at any objects and come to clearly understand that there's nothing truly existing or, truly real, because the nature of that, what to examine, is like an illusion. Then you can't hold on to that as nothing existing also, because when you have to this doesn't exist, that way of perception or that way on grasping is actually based on the understanding that something exists. So therefore, the way of perception or way of conception that this does exist or this does not exist, both becomes irrelevant to the mind. Like the example given here is, but I think that's not really necessary. The example given here is that, to examine whether this child of a barren woman, is he dead or is he alive, and does not arise. That question never arises because barren woman does not have any child. So therefore, this is the 34. Once, this does exist, this is existing, that also, that way of, grasping or perception or way of seeing or thinking this exists does not exist, doesn't occur, and because of that, this does not exist also doesn't have to come, cannot come, because this does exist. This does not exist is coming from the idea that something exists. So therefore, when both of these existing, non-existing way of, perception is absent in the mind, then they can't have any other way of grasping. The mind cannot have any other way of grasping. It cannot have a third way of grasping. And so therefore, that awareness, that mind, that consciousness becomes completely peaceful. Sometimes there is a different kind of explanations, like there is semla sem manchite senje rangin wesala. To the mind, there is no mind. The nature of the mind is luminosity or clarity. If you look at the mind that conceives or perceives things, it perceives things as it does exist or it doesn't exist. And when these are not there, if there is, if you look deeply at the nature of that perception, there's nothing to grasp. When that happens, then, there is an awareness, which is devoid of the mental activities. This is the idea. Our mental activity is that this exists, this doesn't exist, this is good, this is not good, this is right, this is not right, all kind of those kind of things. And when you understand that both the objects that is perceived or that is appears to the awareness, and that awareness which perceives them, both are illusory. There's nothing there in its own. Then you cannot have a very strong kind of a conception that this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is not good, I have to get this, I don't have to get this kind of things. So that state of mind, when this kind of mental activities are pacified, meaning that there's no struggle. Everything can appear. Good things can appear, bad things can appear, anything can appear. And anything appears is clearly recognized as illusory, you can say, if you like. Then you understand the nature of everything, the nature of your mind, deeply, clearly, and without any doubt. And that understanding or experience or clarity is called wisdom. So therefore there is only wisdom, you know? And because of the wisdom, the mental activities cannot affect our perception or conception. Whatever appears, those does not bind us and, you know, kind of draw us into the samsaric state of mind. And this is this is sometimes explained, you know, say like in the Bodhicharyavatara, says, Shiji Puhi Kombo Malupa, Sepi Shide Janam Chuchiku. All the, you know, like wood, dry wood of, you know, the object of perception is burnt by the wisdom. So therefore, you know, that enlightened state of mind kind of remains in the Dhammakaya. And at that time, there's nothing arising, there's nothing ceasing, and all the mental activities of that kind, of the samsaric kind of mental activities, stop. And that's why it's called, you know, attaining the enlightened body, you know, Dharmakaya. So therefore, you know, because of the very clear direct perception of the way things are, you know, what is perceived, all the objects, always is what is it, that object that perceives the objects or appears to the objects. So therefore, because of that clarity and that complete understanding, which is what we call wisdom, so therefore all the, you know, usual kind of our mental activities, that makes us act in the samsaric way, does not arise. So therefore one becomes totally peaceful, completely peaceful. Sometimes this state of mind is called also the great equanimity. Great equanimity is not because you know, you are kind of unaware, or you kind of you don't care, or you know, you are not, what can you say, it's not that, it's not the equanimity which is careless or unaware, or that awareness, that equanimity is so completely aware, so completely clear, so completely sees everything that you know there is nothing you need to be worried about, or you need to act or react, or you need to, run after or run away, or, you need to judge, or you need to kind of, you need to be worried about or anything. When that experience of complete clarity of the nature of everything, especially yourself, your mind, and the nature of everything becomes very clear, then that is what is called the greatest peace. So there is all the klesha, negative activities, negative emotions, and even the ignorance completely cannot exist, because there is complete clarity. And when that happens, then the negative kleshas, negative emotions, and negative state, things, the perception that brings, generates this samsaric state of mind is totally and completely uprooted and cannot come back again, because that clarity or understanding, you cannot erase it once you have complete. Of course, if it is just a glimpse, yes, then it can change, it can go away. If it's just an experience, it can go away. But if that is a complete, realization, complete, then it cannot go away. So therefore, that's why the understanding of absolute nature, understanding of emptiness, is so important in order to totally get enlightened and totally, kind of uproot the ultimate cause of all our suffering and pain, and and the samsaric state of mind, and also completely uproot our klesha, all our negative emotions, which is actually based on a wrong understanding, a wrong way of seeing things. So therefore, understanding of emptiness and all this nature of is very important. But of course, this is very ultimate. This is the ultimate, ultimate path. It is not. It's not easy. It is a long way to go in a way. It depends on where you are and what state of your mind, of course. So therefore, we need to start to, things step by step, step by step. A little bit of understanding of impermanence, a little bit of understanding of, even like nowadays, this if you look from the scientific new discoveries also, it can be very clear that the way we perceive things is not exactly the way things are, you know. We always thought that the things are as we perceive it, as we see it, but now it is, even from the scientific point of view, or, you know, that if we can examine and really find through our, you know, direct perception that it's not so. So this way, you know, and then of course we have to go further and further and further. But then before that, you know, and together with that, that doesn't mean that we do not have to cultivate the positive actions, positive mental qualities, positive actions of body, speech and mind, kindness, compassion, and, you know, everything that's there. So therefore, you know, I think I'll just stop here. I think it is 34. Thank you.